Hey, Scrap family. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas. Getting ready for New Year's, I suppose. We've been fighting a cold. Flu or something that's been going around. Hasn't been fun. It was a pretty relaxed Christmas here. And, didn't do a whole lot. Stayed home. And, just tearing some things apart here. Internet box, a couple of them here, some fans. You may have seen in the thumbnail. Just going through some of the stuff I've collected up and get rid of it. This is kind of my wintertime stuff. Yeah, this is a Wowie Wi-Fi box, as you can tell. You pull out those little plugs in the bottom and then you'll find 4 screws. They are just plain Phillips. Nothing, no security bit or nothing. Some of these plug-ins though I do keep. Sometimes they wind up handy for things. I might not be too talkative here, just I get talking and I get a little short-winded and I start coughing too much, so. And big shout out to the Scrap family. Silver Scorpion, Scrapping with Grandpa, Jimbo Scrapper, Scrappa JC, for the wonderful gifts that they sent out to Roadhog. Go check out all their channels. I'll try to drop links or whatnot in the description. But yeah, for sending out such wonderful gifts to him. I as well have a package in the mail for him. It's just it's taken a little longer than everyone else's to get to him. Pop this board out of there. And it's just a piece of. Oh, look at that! I never would have thought to look at that. Oop. Not sure how hard that might be, but that appears to be a copper foiling stuck down onto this, but there we go. There's already some goodies on this Wowie board, Wi-Fi box. Garbage. Pretty sure that would be hey, violet's got a nice shiny copper color. Oh, good stuff there. Peel this tape off. That looks like some gold connectors. They're attached to part of the framing on the side of it there anyway. Over to here. Not sure what they would be for, but they just pop off. So, there we go, get it to focus. Out of focus, focus. Anyway, nip those off, throw those in with gold recovery. there. Now nothing will focus here. There we go. Sorry about that. Anyway. An aluminum heat sink there. It's got to be an extruded aluminum heat sink, I'm pretty sure. Yep. You can see the metallic there. So pop these little pins out. Throw the springs into your shred. These are probably magnetic. Pull the plastic out. I got a little tub here that I throw all the little hard bits of plastic into. And a little thing here for screws or springs or whatnot. Peel this, the stuff they used to stick, I don't know, probably like a heat transfer stuff. Yeah, so anyway, aluminum heat sink, always nice. We'll go with your painted extruded aluminum. A little bit less, not much, but a little less than clean extruded. And let's go back to seeing what tears off. Here in Alberta, we don't have a market for selling boards. Really, we have to send it off, so I strip off anything that's worthwhile to me, as long as I don't have to fight with it too much. The local county dump, it has, like I mentioned before, bins for the e-waste, so once I kind of peel off what I want, then I send it back, send it there to the dump, to the e-waste bins. So in these guys, there'll be copper in them. Can't get it to focus. Copper in those guys. There'll be another one there. Pretty sure there'll be a little spool of copper in there. Bits and pieces there. Be copper inside these guys here. When you get your switches, your tack switches, there'll be a little silver bead. I do have one here that's broke open. If I can get the camera to focus on it. Seeing pretty tiny little piece of copper, or sorry, silver in there. And as well in there, there'll be one of these. This goes in there. I'm not sure if that's a silver. They try to flip it over without losing it here. They have like a coppery, brassy look to them on the other side. I don't know if anyone knows exactly what that part of the contact switch is. Tack switch. Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, pretty small piece of silver. Keep them at your discretion. I do take them off myself. I have a little container that I put them in. Whether they break when you pull them off or not. Some of them, they come apart right away. So then I'll just throw this and then that into my tack switch. Scrap tack switches. And then the little thing here, it's generally always magnetic. Sure, having problems with this camera focusing. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, anyway, some shed. I do have a coffee can here where I do the scrapping here in the house. Smaller things to put pieces in. So, some of that just thrown in the bin. I'm not taking weight of anything, just tearing stuff down. So anyway, in here you'll get your gold pins. Never had such problems with my camera wanting to focus. Focus. There, gold pin. Another tack switch. Inside those guys, any of your jacks, they'll have gold plated pins, so you can rip those guys off. You know, the little switch, there'll be a little silver in there. So yeah, it's just kind of your own discretion of what you want to tear off. Some of the stuff comes off pretty easy, some of it's a bit of a pain. So look, no, the pin stayed right on the board there, as you can see. I'm just gonna send this one as probably not an edited video or nothing, just full on scrapping, so it might be a longer one. Hard to say. So hopefully it's something that's interesting to you guys. These things, they're generally usually plated brass. Take your file and run it over it. Yeah, so you can see that nice fitted focus. There, that nice gold look. So yeah, I just throw that into the brass. Really not sure why this isn't focusing. Some plastics. I am fairly new to recycling and going through the e-waste, so I don't know the names of all the stuff. But all part of learning. So those are your nice long gold pins. So I'll pull these plastic pieces off and then cut them off. And I just saved these gold pins. Maybe one day I'll... Oh, I must have bent them over. That one doesn't want to come out very well. Maybe I'll have a setup for refining that sort of stuff. If not... Oh. Well, it's neat stuff to hang on to anyway. So a lot of them, if you just fold them back and forth, they just pull off real easy. So yeah, there you get just nice gold pins. So let's throw those back where I've got some other pins sitting here. A little jar that I put them in. Yeah, these two little guys off that one. Yeah. That's got the gold pins. I can go along on the back side here. You know, there's certain things on here other people might keep. Little MLCCs and whatnot. I don't. But I'll take the flat packs off. I just take my screwdriver here. Or just because it's handy in my hand. And if you just give them a little pop around, they come off pretty easy. So you can probably take these IC chips off. Now an IC chip like that on the inside, are those worth keeping as ICs? It won't really focus again. But, they're like little tiny copper donuts in there. So someone let me know in the comments below. You know, I wouldn't be able to send that to my scrapyard, but until you say some of these things, I tear it off and it's kind of like, oh well, probably could have left that on. Yeah, see, break the ferrite off open on these. There's a little, like a little mini transformer, I suppose. Take that tape off. Let's set these down. So I was having this cold, yeah, all wrapped up with some copper. There might be tape in the layers, but so you can strip that copper down off of it, pull that off, throw it into like your number 2. It is an enameled copper. I've never seen one of these that has aluminum. I mean, you can run a file over it and check it, but I've never, I guess I've seen any of these on circuit boards that are aluminum windings, like motors and other transformers. So there, the other part of it's coming off. And it had a little metal end there, just nip it off. Not sure if that's a magnetic a piece or not. Nope. It might be brass. Grab the file. Scrapper's best friend. Will it focus? A little bit. It's kind of a copper color. Could be brass though, but it does have that reddish. When I look at it, it has the reddish color. So throw it in with some of my copper, whether it be number 2 or I think I have just a Treddy copper. I keep a lot of stuff in separate little containers that I'm not too sure about. But anyway, decent little bit of wire off that little guy. So they are worth pulling off. And like I say, take your file if you're not sure. But any of that on those boards, they will generally be copper. I'm going to drop my little cutters 1 second, please. And then you get a little copper donut, be on a ferrite ring. So yeah, I'll sit down and I'll collect these up. I've got a few of them here that I tore apart off another, actually off this board here. So you know, when I'm sitting down, I'm watching videos from the scrap family. I'll unwind the copper off them. Gives me something to do. Usually an evening thing or something like that. And that's just a piece of plastic. It's not magnetic. That was the cap off of that guy. So here we have another one right here. Would be another little bit of copper in there. So you can get the ferrite to break off, and then see this little copper spool in there. And just unravel it and get that little guy off, and we'll file it and see what it might be. It's the same. It looks like it's got kind of a coppery color. And it just won't focus. You'll have to take my word. Just take that and smudge it together. So there's some number 2 copper off the board. Not a lot, but it adds up. I'm curious to see what might be under this. I think they're soldered down. That's another piece of aluminum. We've painted or whatever, coated, but for sheet aluminum, not extruded. Okay, so these little caps on these guys, they pop off pretty easy. And there is a little flat pack. There's a little gold band. Focus. There we go. Sorry about that again. Gold band crystal oscillator. Flat pack. Or no, it's being IC. I see the little silver tab on the side, I believe. So, and you can pop those off, the little gold band crystal oscillators or whatever those are. There's another one here. Sometimes I'll pop them off just to, you know, want to throw them in with gold-plated pins. Now those tops, they were magnetic, so I'll just throw those into the tin shred bucket there. And you can, this screwdriver might not be the best. It's pretty blunt. I don't want to go giving anything a bang too loud, but I'm still learning the tricks of getting all this stuff off the boards nicely. Too much fighting. It's not really worth my time. I'll see if I can pop these little. There I got. Wow. Them off, but that's such a tiny little bit of gold on there. I can't see that they're even worth taking. You'd have to be pretty right into that whole recovery thing, I think, for that little bit to make worthwhile. I'd sooner just go at the little bits of copper here. That you can get some copper in here too. This stuff's usually just a pain to get out though. So quite often I'll just leave those even on. We will take the silver switches off because silver is silver. And I never get things off as nice and neat as some of the guys, but yeah, anyway, like I say, I'm gonna leave those gold bands, these things on. That's not enough for me to worry about. Collecting up, I will just send them back. So yeah, we got our ferrite here, and just pick that up with the magnet. I do have a container that started for more ferrite. Stuff does add up pretty good. So lots of people just throw it in with their shred, but I like to separate things down. And then when you get to the scrapyard, if it's separated, they may just say, oh, just throw it in with this or whatever, but first start some more ferrite pieces. Like this little magnet that I found in scrapping some stuff. It's a ferrite magnet, obviously, but kind of a funky shape to it. It had some copper spools around it. Yeah. So anyway, we'll move on now that that's cleaned up. See, the rest of these boards I won't be doing much with, more with. Now I do have another internet box here. That's pretty cool. That copper foiling. And these things will get put into their perspective. They'll get put into their containers to keep them in. Let's have a look here. Okay, there's the screws there and there on this guy. Ooh, must have dropped that one to the floor. Chase a little screw around everywhere. Oh, see, I don't see any more screws under anything here. Always check underneath the tape. Sometimes they hide screws. There's nothing appears to be under there. It'll be pretty hard to scrap it if I can't get into it. Try a different approach here. Oh, almost had something coming there. There we go. Okay, so that side is just recyclable hard plastics. Sometimes they're made of metal, but not this one. Ooh. That's fancy. Almost thought that was a little hard drive, I don't know. It might be a little mini hard drive. It's cool, a green painted aluminum heat sink. So, get under here and woohoo! Pins are flying. Oh, a nice gold BGA. You can see the gold on there. This board looks like it burnt or something. We'll get the screws out. There's a few screws holding the board down. Could use my drill, but sometimes I just like to use the screwdriver to take things apart. Just your plastic bottom, a little spring. There's the aluminum heat sink. Oh, it's got a putty on it, so you can scrape that putty stuff off of it. Try to clean them up the best that you can. But that'll go into your painted extrusion. So there's two little screws holding this guy down. More of those gold contacts, connectors. Hey, dogs. Oh, got that wire there. Come on in. An interesting little piece here. One of those gold contacts, and it's got some, looks like maybe just some silicone that was holding them in place so they didn't flop around. Try to peel that off. I feel like I'm working really slow here. I think just with been sick and a little, I don't know, type of board that was those wires were attached to. Hopefully that I get a bucket under there for e-waste once it's done. I'll just throw those in. I'm gonna hang on to this thing before I tear it apart. It's like a little pea hat thing. Anyway, let's move on before we get stuck on something too long. There's more of those gold contacts here. So pull them off there. Pop that wire up. Pull him off. A couple more there. Put that in e-waste. So we'll take the HDMI ports off. Or, sorry, USB ports, not HDMI. Little tack switch. Comes off nicely. Doesn't look like you will. There we go. A little tack switch there. There's quite a few little copper coils, but they're all pretty small. We'll grab a screwdriver, we'll see what's under this guy. These are always magnetic, so that just goes into your shred in little caps. So down in here we have a crystal oscillator. A bit of copper, but nothing really that I'll go in after too much there. Too small of stuff. You say I don't have the knowledge on everything to try to describe what it is. I just tear it apart. Like people ask me if I can weld things or whatnot, and I said no, I'm more of a cut and torch and hacksaw kind of guy. So that's the little contacts. They're gold there. That's where those guys attach to.